What's this? Yeah, baby, it's finally here. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're anything like me and the newest car you own is a 2012 Volkswagen Touareg, then you've likely at some point searched for some way of connecting your phone using Bluetooth to your car so you can play your songs through it or use Spotify or whatever it is you do. The fact is most of the old cars do not have GPS, let alone CarPlay, let alone Bluetooth. If you're lucky, you may have a line in so that you can hook up to your stereo headphones. New phones don't even have line outs anymore. They just use USB, so you have to get special cables. So I'm often looking for some sort of a stereo upgrade for the various different cars I've got. I've got the S4, it has absolutely no screen. My GL has a bit of a hybrid where it has a Bluetooth, which allows me to make phone calls using the factory stereo, but not listen to my music using Bluetooth. So for that, I had to get an adapter. My Touareg, which is the closest to a modern system, has GPS and it has Bluetooth, but doesn't have Apple CarPlay or anything like that. I don't even know if Apple CarPlay was invented in 2012. In any case, the need for some sort of a screen upgrade is most obvious in my dad's Sprinters. We've got two Sprinters that I take care of. We've transitioned from the T1N to the NCV3, so we're talking 2009, 2010. And their stereos are rudimentary, to say the least. These are work trucks, and they do not like to provide the drivers with any sort of convenience whatsoever. There's no GPS, there's no line in, there's nothing. You get radio and a CD player. I don't even know if it works, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if we've used it. So normally what we do is you just run your cell phone, kind of mount it up here, use the cell phone as the GPS. It's definitely not ideal because it's a very small screen. You're going around town, there's a contractor truck, you're constantly going in and out of various streets. You need a better screen to do this. Now you can purchase factory upgrades to these in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, just so they can get your GPS functionality, which we actually have on the phone already. So while I was searching for an upgrade for this printer, the folks at Carpuride reached out to me and actually said, hey, listen, we've got this new product. It's a 903. We think it's going to be a great upgrade for your Sprinter. It's going to do the job. It's going to support the requirements of a contractor constantly on the move, needs the map, and it has Apple CarPlay. Plus, it has multiple ways of connecting to the vehicle stereo system, so it may actually work for this old system without you having to add any other hardware. I just got the box today. I'm really excited about trying it out with you guys. So in today's episode, we're gonna unbox this, set it up together, and see how easy it is to hook up to this very old radio with zero input capability. And then as a bonus, I'm actually going ahead and try the Carpuride in a few of my other vehicles, just so we can see how it interacts with the various input modes, because it has line in, it has Bluetooth, it has an FM transmitter. So technically speaking, you should be able to connect this to any car stereo that exists out there. Let's go try the system out. All right, first things first, let's open the box up. There we go. Wow, this screen looks pretty substantial. All right, let's take a look. Holy smokes, look at the size of this thing. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you, this thing is huge. I mean, just compared to my Samsung here. This thing is massive. I like it already because, frankly, in a vehicle like the Sprinter, you need a big screen. In a car, this may be a bit overkill, but in the Sprinter, we have a lot of real estate to play with. This may actually work out really nice. Right off the bat, we've got the front-looking camera here. This would be great because my dad already bought an auxiliary dash cam and reverse camera because this truck has none of this equipment. So the fact that this is already built in is actually going to be very, very convenient, and you have some control as to which way this camera is going. In actual fact, you can rotate it 180 and record inside of the truck as well if you wanted to. Let's see what else is in the box. All right, the folks at Carpuride have clearly gone a long way to ensure that this will, in fact, mount and fit into anything. So we've got a couple of different mounts here. One's for the dash with a glue pad. We've got a suction cup here, which will go great in the glass if you want. I'm personally not a fan of these. I've tried a few for my cell phone, and they're usually not the best way to keep things around. I do much prefer the glue one because it's fixed and you're good to go. The really cool thing is I've got the reverse camera as part of the package. Thank you, Carpuride, for that. I already wanted to set one up for the Sprinter for my dad, so this will actually be fantastic. We already looked at another one that he ordered, and we're trying to figure out what this extra cable was for. I think this is for the backup lights. So you actually hook up the camera to your backup light, so when you put it in reverse, the camera turns on. Makes all the sense in the world. So that's the reverse camera. We'll hook it up and see how it works. There's a little pad included for your convenience. I guess if you don't have a good area for the suction cup, you can screw this into your dash or wherever you want to mount it, and then the suction cup will attach to it very well. Like I said, this is not my favorite. I'm going to set this aside for now. We're going to see if we can make do with the other one. If not, we're going to try and play with this after. In the package, we also have a power supply, standard USB-C for the device. As far as I know, if you plan on using the FM transmitter, so you can hook up to your FM radio, you have to use this power supply because it is also the built-in antenna for the device. Like I said, the truck has zero input capability. There's no Bluetooth, there's no auxiliary. So we're gonna get rid of this cable for now, and we might play with it on a different vehicle. Now, the folks at Carpuride have included a fairly well-written and detailed manual, but this is going in my dad's truck. And what I want to do is I want to try to set this up without ever looking at this manual. Now, admit, I have looked at some YouTube videos as to how this is set up and how you use it, but my dad has not. So my goal here is to set this up without ever looking into the manual to see how easy it is going to be and whether we're actually going to need to read any of this to connect the unit to the car. All right, let's set this up. We'll get some power onto the unit and see what happens. USB plugs in at the back, very straightforward. And unit powers up pretty much right away. Now, I'm not going to glue this yet because I want to try this in a couple of different vehicles. But for the Sprinter, this is actually a perfect location to put the screen. It's in perfect view of the driver. It's not really obstructing anything. And frankly, this lid opens up, but the screen can stay with it while you use it. So actually gluing this here will work perfectly fine. All right, let's power the unit up. Cool stuff. Right, now I do have an Android phone, so Apple CarPlay is just not gonna work for us. All right, let's check out some of the features on the unit. Screen brightness, pretty responsive, up and down. Volume, same thing, up and down, pretty responsive. This is for the camera. Pretty good quality, you can see very well around the screen. This is a live feed of the camera. Here's my hand. And as I said, you can flip the camera around. 4K video, Ultra HD, continuous recording. That's pretty awesome. Apple CarPlay, we're not gonna play with. Android Auto, we'll check in a second. The only thing we're gonna be playing with is the audio output. Like I said, this unit is set up to pretty much cover any option that you want. The speaker is built in. You're likely never gonna be able to hear this inside of a Sprinter van while driving. It's way too noisy in here. This speaker is not gonna do us any good. Bluetooth audio and auxiliary also does not work. This unit does not have any input capability whatsoever. So we're stuck with the FM at 104. So what we're gonna do is set up the radio at 104 megahertz, 99.7 now. Okay, so let's go to 104, 104.3. There we go. So 104.3, we should be connected in. Now, before we can play anything, we have to connect the phone. So on your phone, we're gonna go down to Bluetooth. We're gonna select Carpuride right at the bottom. Bluetooth pairing request, we don't want to pair, yes. And that's it. We've got Android Auto ready to go. Connect to your car, Android Auto is connected, there we go. Welcome to Android Auto. Permissions on the cell phone. So we want to start a microphone, location, yeah, phone, call log, yeah, sure. We want all of that stuff, it's okay. Data charges, yeah, understood. Continue setup on this car screen. There we go. Continue here. And we are done. Now, Apple CarPlay was very easy to set up. We do have the radio at 104.3. I do have the FM transmitter at 104.3, and I do want to test the sound. Now, I don't have any copyright-free music on my phone right off the bat, and I don't want to play anything off it. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up a YouTube video, one of my favorites. Let's go with this one, for example. So my cell phone is Bluetooth connected to the Carpuride, which is FM connected to the radio, playing the sound off my cell phone. The sound quality is actually fairly decent, certainly no worse than regular radio, which is the only thing that this truck has anyways, okay? So that's the sound, very fast, very straightforward. I'm actually gonna remember the radio station. We're gonna keep it on the unit. So anytime the unit's in the car, you flip onto the station and audio plays. So let's take a look at some of the other features. Going through my phone, you can go into Spotify and some of my stuff. Like I said, I'm not gonna play it. This is not copyright free. We have the split screen here with the navigation is always going to stay visible. We have the full screen map, which is actually fantastic because this screen size works very well in this Sprinter. And in fact, if I was to zoom out, you can kind of see that although the screen is huge and is actually very big for most other vehicles, in this truck, with the real estate that you've got, this actually works out quite well. So this map size is very, very good for the Sprinter. All right, we've tested DFM, works great with the Sprinter stereo. We played with Android Auto. Now, this is not a tutorial on Android Auto. I'm sure you can find plenty of other videos that will show you how to do that. You basically take control over your cell phone and you can use all of your cell phone apps on the screen. It's awesome. I mean, if you have access to this, this is great. Most modern cars will have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Obviously, this 2009 Sprinter does not. So this gives us tremendous amount of functionality. It got a bit bright outside, so we're gonna continue this video in my kitchen of all places. We already saw the icons on the left. We played with Android Auto. We saw the audio output options, and we're gonna go try 2 more of these in 2 different cars outside. Let's check out the settings very quickly. Screensaver. So we can turn the screen off after a couple of seconds there, 10, 30, or off. I don't want to play with that. Left hand or right hand drive. We are under left hand drive in North America. Split screen mode. You can have full screen mode or split screen with the camera as well. I'm gonna go with full screen. I don't really care about the camera as I'm driving. Brightness is auto. Assistive touch, you can have that on and off. It is on right now. And clear connections basically clears all of the connectivity that we've had set up so far. As far as camera goes, format, 1080p, you can do 1080n as well, 1080p is fine. Record resolution, we can actually go up to 4K on the resolution, 1080p is perfectly fine, otherwise the space starts getting limited pretty quick. We have segment duration, basically how much it records, collision sensitivity, etc. Microphone, on and off, pretty easy. Rear mirror image, this is for the rear camera if we want to turn it on and off. And reverse line calibration, you can do that when we hook up the camera. Maybe we're going to play with that in a couple of minutes once we actually have the camera hooked up. So we're going to stop that. And as far as system goes, language, tip sound, actually I'm going to turn off because I don't like to listen to it. Date and time is an obvious one. Storage info, the card has 60 gigs inside of it already, 57 free. Format, if you want to erase the card. Factory reset, obviously bring all the settings back, and the firmware version is just going to tell us what the status of the unit is. There's 2 more things I want to try with you guys. The one is the reverse camera, and the second one is a couple of different options for the audio output with a couple of my different cars. So let's get the reverse camera hooked up. This one's pretty straightforward. There's the camera, comes with what looks like a 3.5-inch jack, plugs in at the back at the AV input, right there. Now, nothing will happen when you plug the camera in because, like I said earlier, it requires a positive input from your reverse lights. So when you put the vehicle in reverse and your reverse lights turn on, this will get power and it will turn on your camera. Let's put some power on the red cable. And the camera turns on immediately. And this is fantastic, very clear image, good resolution. I'm gonna go mount it on the car. It won't happen today for this video, but I will give you an update once this is done. You take the power out and the camera will stop displaying the image. All right, as a bonus, the last thing I wanna try is to hook this up to 2 other cars because we have 2 different setups. My Mercedes has a Bluetooth for the phone and a line in for the audio. So we're gonna try and see how that's gonna play out. And my Touareg has a Bluetooth for the phone and the audio, in which case this is just gonna be the screen and the phone's gonna connect directly to the system. Let's go try both of the systems out and see how that works out. All right, my GL, the stock radio, has multiple options for inputs. I've added the Bluetooth to it, but originally it did not have it. So I just had the auxiliary line in. Now the radio does have Bluetooth for the phone. So when you're making phone calls, that goes through the radio. Now, when we connect Carpuride, it clearly says that if your vehicle has Bluetooth, you should not use the Bluetooth on the device. You do not want to have Bluetooth from the phone onto the device, onto your radio, in your speakers. So you have to connect your phone directly to the Bluetooth of the vehicle and directly to the Carpuride for the screen. Now, what I've done here is basically assume that my vehicle did not have Bluetooth. So I'm using the auxiliary output on the Carpuride. Remember, we set that up by going to the home screen, audio input, and we are at auxiliary. Okay, we tried DFM with the Sprinter, we're on auxiliary now. So going back here, if we went to Android Auto, this is connected through my phone for Android Auto. So if I was to play a video, at the same time, the Carpuride and the Mercedes are still connected. Now, I could potentially disable the Bluetooth on the Mercedes, because frankly, at that point, it's not really needed, because I can simply hook up to the Carpuride and use the line out to provide the audio output. But the car does have a microphone for its built-in Bluetooth, so that may be a better option rather than using the built-in microphone into the phone. But this is just a matter of trying it out and playing which option you prefer. The connectivity is all there. All right, the final scenario we're gonna try here, cell phones hooked up through Bluetooth to my car stereo, cell phones hooked up through Bluetooth to the Carpuride. As you can tell, Android Auto still works. The audio works perfectly fine as well. And we also have the audio on the cell phone working through the car stereo. All right. So this is working perfectly fine. I have zero issues. I've now connected it to 3 cars. Pretty much anything that has an FM radio, line in, or Bluetooth is going to be able to connect to the Carpuride, and you're going to get your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay ready to go. That's it for this one, folks. The Carpuride W903 is phenomenal. This massive screen will work great as long as you've got the real estate. Maybe a little bit of an overkill for a regular car, but for a big truck like the Sprinter, it is fantastic. It has all the connectivity you need, including an FM transmitter, Bluetooth, and a line out. It has front-facing camera already built into it and the ability to hook up the rear camera, which I'm actually very excited about for the Sprinter because you can't see anything in the back of that thing. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. If you want to go check out Carpuride 903, the link is in the description, and you can use code Eurotrash to get $50 off your purchase right now. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.